Hey, it's Mike and I'm back to talk about cue ball control in this video. What we're going to discuss is the path of the cue ball as far as cue ball control. The better we understand the path of the cue ball, the better we can position our cue ball for a better shot on the next ball, as well as avoid any potential problems, scratching, getting stuck behind another ball, bumping into another ball that we really didn't want to, things like that. So the first thing what we're going to talk about is a tangent line. What is a tangent line? Tangent line, if we remember back to math, was a 90-degree line off of a ball. So in this case, I have an object ball here. I'm going to put my ghost ball in. That provides me an easy way to understand that the 90 degrees will come off this object ball 90 degrees from the path that it will follow. A couple things need to be happening to the cue ball for that to happen. Get to that in a second. But to understand what is the path of the tangent line and how does it affect, how do we hit the ball to create that? So in this case, I'm going to pull this ball back 90 degrees, and that is the tangent line. The tangent line, like the ghost ball, does not change. Put a different color ball here for you. So no matter where I hit this from, this is the tangent line. The tangent line. What is a tangent line, and how do we create the cue ball's path to follow that tangent line? The ball needs to be in a slide. When we strike the cue ball, we can apply top or bottom, and that's all we're really going to discuss here, is not left or right yet. We're only going to talk about top, bottom, and middle. So I can hit the ball with top, and that will never go into a slide. That's always going to be rolling forward. We can hit that in the middle, and that will slide for a distance. That distance is determined by the force at which we hit it. We can also hit it with bottom. Bottom will spin backwards. Once the spin runs out, it will slide and then roll forward. So again, we can hit the ball with bottom English and still have it and we can have it hit the object ball effectively with draw, with stop, stun, or with follow, depending on the strength and the amount of bottom English that we used. So in this case, again, for the cue ball to travel along the stun line, we need to have it in a slide. So when I strike this ball, it either needs to be going back and then slide a little bit, and that's when it needs to contact this, or if I'm really close, I can just slide it straight in with no backspin. So I will strike this so that it should go right into the 8 ball. So I hit that with enough force that hitting it like a stop shot resulted in the ball sliding, the cue ball sliding into the object ball and traveling along the tangent line. And that shot is called a stun shot as opposed to a stop shot, even though we strike it in the same area. Stop shots are just straight on. Stun shots have an angle, and the cue ball will travel along the tangent line. Okay? So next, what we will talk about, that is tangent line 90 degrees from the path that the object ball will follow. We will now talk about the 30-degree rule. The 30-degree rule affects a large number of shots, angles, that we'll be shooting. Anywhere from about the 25, if we think about the fractional aiming system, from about a 75 ball hit to a 50 ball to a 25 percent ball hit, any of those will more or less follow the 30% rule, the 30-degree rule. What won't is an edge-to-edge shot. And then it will change, it'll increase to 10, 20, up to 30 degrees between edge to edge, and 25% ball. So we're going to discuss is that 30-degree, the shots that follow the 30-degree rule, 75, 50, and 25% ball hits. So what does 30 degrees look like? Looks like the peace sign. So if you just create a peace sign, that is about 30 degrees. So you don't have to carry around your protractor with you to the pool matches to figure out if that's 30 degree, what's 30 degrees, so you can figure out the path of the cue ball. The body, we have, your entire body is made up of lots of different measuring systems. The peace sign is your 30 degrees. Talk about tangent lines, we can create an L with our fingers and thumb. That is 90 degrees. So if you need to figure out what 90 degrees looks like, if you need some assistance with that, here's your L. 30 degrees peace sign. So what we'll figure out now is how to use the peace sign effectively. So I'll set up the shot, and what I'm going to do is to the peace sign. And where am I doing the peace sign from and to, and what does each finger mean? We're going to use the finger for one line, and we're going to use the other finger for the path of the cue ball. So here I put in my ghost ball. This is my aiming line, and if I put the peace sign right by the ball, one finger is over the aiming line, and then this finger here, aiming line, and then path of the cue ball is there. And that looks like it's traveling right towards that diamond. So if I line that up, the ghost ball, so that we can show an effective use of the peace sign, is what happens. The 30-degree rule is also known as the natural line. What a natural line means, or how to effectively use the 30-degree rule, is that the ball needs to be in forward motion. Either a natural forward roll, or if you hit it with top spin. Either will do about the same. The higher you go, the more you will shorten those 30 degrees, and you can get that down some. But in this case, I'm just going to hit this just above center, just so that's rolling forward when it hits the object ball. And it should travel right into the path of and connect with the 3 ball. So now I can effectively determine tangent lines follow or natural lines, and I can enhance or guide the cue ball into the path that I want it to go. So if there's a ball in the tangent line and I don't want it to connect with that, I know not to hit that like a stop shot or stun shot. It needs to be not sliding. It needs to either be backspin or forward spin in an effort to not contact that ball. So effective uses, being able to guide your cue ball is an effective way to move it around intelligently. So what I'll talk to you about now is side spin. Side spin does not have an immense amount of effect coming off the cue ball, coming off the object ball. So I'm going to put this here, and this is my 75% ball hit. And if I use the L to figure out my tangent line, I know that that's my tangent line. So if I hit this with stun, it will travel right towards that 9 ball, right? Now I'm going to use the same shot, and I'm going to use a lot of right English. I might miss the ball because of throw, which is not going to be discussed in this video. But it does change the path of the object ball. What it does not change, right spin, left spin, is the path that the cue ball will take after contact with the object ball. So again, same shot, lots of right English, but still mid ball. Like I said, I was going to miss that shot before the throw because my line was the same. But it did not change the path that the cue ball took after it made contact. Does not change. Left or right spin does not change the path of the cue ball. What it does until it hits the rail. Once it hits the rail, that's where we're going to see the path of the cue ball change. So I'm going to shoot 3 shots, one with no left or right English, just center ball. We're going to see where does it contact the rail and where does it end up. And I'm going to hit this with in the 6 to 7 diamond strength. So that hit just above the rail, and that's our first attempt. I'm going to put this piece of chalk there, just above the rail. And that seems right. If I put this object ball there, and I make my L, my right angle, it's pretty much going right towards that pocket just above, so that's expected. Now, we will use a lot of right English. Still mid-ball, so we still expect it to go about the same spot. But what the right English will do is complement the angle that it's going into. It's going in from left to right towards the rail. Complementary English, running English, right English in this case, should widen the angle that it comes out. And it will also add fuel to the fire. It'll increase the speed. So I expect this to go longer and wider after we make contact. So I hit that about roughly the same speed, maybe a hair harder, but boy, it traveled a lot more. And it did widen that path, and it did hit about the same spot. So we increased the angle in which it came off the rail. Complementary, running, right English in this case. Kill or reverse English, inside English in this case, is left English. What we're going to do is we're going to see that hit about the same spot, and we're going to see that come up short. It's going to shorten the angle, and it's going to put the brakes on, and it's going to slow it down. Why? It's because the English is going in the opposite direction that the cue ball is going. It's going from left to right, and the English is going from right to left. I don't like that shot. I feel like I hit that poorly. I'm going to do this one more time for you. So again, I can see that the cue ball came in a little high, probably the way I hit it more than anything. Could have been gearing off the ball, but what happened, even though it came in at this angle, it almost came off straight off the rail and dramatically less distance, even though hit with about the same force or strength. So that's what we can expect with kill or reverse English, inside English, is we will see a shortened angle and we'll see the ball not travel as far. Outside running complementary English, right English in that case, we will see that ball spin off the rail, open up the angle some, and travel farther. So now I'm going to demonstrate a drill that will help you start to gain control over the cue ball and the path that the cue ball will take. So I'm going to, this is called the wagon wheel. I'm going to put a ball right by the side pocket, about a diamond away, and then give it about 45 degrees or so, 30 to 45 degrees. We'll put a little mark here. that we can try to repeat this. And what I'll do is just take a set of balls, and we can start moving the set of balls down by diamonds around the table so that we can start applying different English to the ball, whether that be top, bottom, left, right. So in this case, if I take a look at my potting line, my aiming line, I'm going to come out and probably just catch the front of that one ball. So I determined that based off of the peace sign and my 30-degree rule. For a stun shot, I just have to put my set of balls that I'm aiming at, find my chalk mark. This creates a tangent line, so I understand the tangent line is 90 degrees from the angle that my object ball is going to travel. My cue ball will travel in that 90 degrees off of, and probably come into, that grouping of balls. Very, very close. Probably had a little low on that. And when I miss, I simply repeat until I start getting control over my cue ball. There, I overcorrected. I did not do the same thing I just did, which is an outstanding thing. Repeating ourselves, our mistakes, is not always a good thing. So again, I'm going to just come in and do everything I'm supposed to. Check my line. Chalk. And there we go. Able to make a connection. So I worked it out. First time was a little low, second time was a little high, third time was on the money. We're just going to start moving this around. Using the rail to come into the grouping of balls is absolutely fine. So if this, you can't draw back into this, which, unless you're Everin, not many can. But what I can do is start creating that path. Start visualizing where does this need to connect down on the rail for it to come up and hit there. It's around there, between the second and third diamond from the right. So that's where I need to send the cue ball, with just low. Not enough. There we go. So start understanding how is the cue ball coming down. You could even have hit that with stun and left English, so that once it hit there, it widened the angle. Let's see what that would look like. So again, cue ball path does not change. It's going to go down to the bottom rail. I'm going to try to catch that diamond so that it is traveling a little bit backwards, so that it becomes complementary English to put left on. So just a little low and a good amount of left. There, I overdid it. And I'm visualizing where that needs to go and how I need to get it there. So I hit a little further than what I wanted to, and I came up into here. Had I hit where I wanted to, I should have came in right into the 3. So I did hit that a little low. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I can't miss it. The amateur will shoot shots until they make it. A professional will shoot shots until they can't miss. worked it out. I hit that square in the noggin. I saw where the cue ball hit, and it was right down there. So it's just a little bit under stun. So a little lower than stun. Wagon wheel is a great drill for you to understand how to start controlling your cue ball. You get side shots in pool all the time. This is not an uncommon shot. It's a very common shot. You should be able to get anywhere on the table with this shot. There's no reason you can't. Start practicing that drill and you start moving those sets of diamonds, the balls, every diamond on the table, around the entire table. And work at it until you really have an understanding of path of the cue ball. Again, to recap, we've talked about path of the cue ball, why it's important to avoid problems, scratches, connecting with other balls, as well as be able to get shape. We talked about stun, the tangent line, hitting it with stun, and the tangent line is 90 degrees off. Talked about the 30-degree rule, which is a natural roll forward. Talked about what happens with the cue ball when you strike it, that there's either a backspin or a slide or a forward motion, and sometimes all three. We talked about the effects of left or right English when you shoot a ball. Does not affect the cue ball. It affects the object ball, but not the cue ball. That will still travel in the same line. We talked about the effects of side spin, whether it be left, right, inside kill, or complementary outside English, the effects that it has once it contacts the rail. Then we discussed the wagon wheel drill, something for you to practice to gain control of the cue ball. That's all for now. Thank you.